All right, guys, here we are to talk about episode 2 of Stranger Things.
Holy
season
shit.
2. This is always an interesting ride. I love this show. Watching this episode by episode instead of watching it in one big binge is such a change.
I know.
And I don't know if it's a good change or a bad change, but I love this show because it's one of the few shows that I put my cell phone like away and I just watch the show and I let it all just sweep over me like a warm bath of good.
Yeah, so it's really dense, and I feel like I should. So like, I take notes when I do stuff, and like it's like a struggle. You know, some things it's a struggle because I just end up writing down everything, and I'm like, then they go here, then they go there, because like there's nothing to write down here. So I've tried to like migrate over to writing down important things that I want to talk about and like quotes that I want to like reference.
Sure.
On this show, even with that approach, it's still there's too many notes. There's too much to write down.
Oh yeah,
the density of the content of the little pearls and good things, the little looks, the little references, the drop-ins, the music, I don't know what else.
Did you think it was a little weird that Halloween happened right now? And it wasn't some big build-up towards some epic thing happening in the last episode that is Halloween?
Only because we, by which I mean you, thought that was going to happen.
I think that was a good play for things.
Sure, until, like, I think had you not brought it up, it would have been just natural and, like, fine to me.
Well, no, it worked out. It wasn't a problem. I just think Halloween is such a great holiday, especially in a horror realm, to have no really punchy, scary bit happen during that episode. But also that could be a smart tactic where it's like you expect something horrifying to happen on Halloween.
Well, and I really thought because of how this started, like maybe that's true or not. I might be remembering this wrong, but I think 11 and like the ghost thing was before we even knew that like today was Halloween.
Yes, it was the very beginning of the episode.
Yeah, so I thought that was going to be like Halloween is later, and she would sneak out or something like that because he says the promise, he says all the other stuff or whatever. So I was like, so I think I was still thinking today is not Halloween. He's gonna like very very predictably and obviously
not be around,
let her down, and then she's gonna end up sneaking out on like Halloween. That's gonna be this like thing, but that did not happen.
So I had an interesting ride with this episode.
Ooh.
So I started watching this on Netflix, on my TV as a man should. That last episode I had to watch on my phone because I had some issues.
I was going to say.
So I'm watching the show, and for some reason, it got kicked over into French. And because of how this episode starts, there's no talking for a long time. And she says Mike at one point, but apparently Mike in French is the same. So
Mike.
So all I hear is Mike, and she's looking for him in the upside down.
Awesome.
And then it cuts to when she's outside the window and looking into the house, and I hear like, and like it wasn't discernibly French to me at the time. I was like, I'm like, is she still in the upside down? Is she hearing them all garbled or something?
There's
like,
that scene right where the soldiers are on the other side of like the weird vagina in the wall, but you're just like, are they Russians? Like, cause like the fucking that's crazy. I like that.
I thought they were.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
So it was interesting. But they quickly realized, I'm like, oh wait a minute, what the fuck is happening here?
Dude, so that fucking happened to me with Winter Soldier. I got like a German thing for Winter Soldier, which begins with Bucky being interrogated, and then so like it was like 10 minutes into the movie once they're like in like Africa doing their thing or like whatever. When I'm like, wait, why would Captain America be speaking Russian? Oh God, I have the wrong fucking thing. That's like the worst feeling because you're like, what is wrong? Am I having a stroke? Why? I don't know.
They're taking creative choices with this.
This is bold.
Interesting.
It's so bold to not have subtitles here.
But then some things just don't have subtitles, and it throws off the whole formula.
Exactly.
Where you're like, I expect certain things. But yeah, so that was my weird side adventure. But no, like it starts. I like that. I like that he sees her and like kind of freaks out, so he knows she's alive. So when we see him in the episode 1, like, constantly talking to her on the,
you're like, oh, that's so sad. But now he's like, no, I hope she finds a walkie-talkie and can talk to me.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah. So like we immediately now, right? Because like first episode ends with 11, and you're like, holy shit, 11. And now we filled in the whole timeline, right? She almost immediately found her way back.
Yeah.
She almost immediately tried to go back to her friends and was like, oh shit, shit's not right. She almost immediately ends up in the woods and possibly murders a guy. Something.
I don't think he.
I hope
he died.
I hope she just knocked him out. But that guy.
She hit him with like a squirrel. So like
a log.
Was it? I thought it was a burning squirrel.
I thought it was a burning log from the fire.
Oh, maybe.
Still, though, I hope he's not dead, but if he's not dead, he's a guy who's had a year to be like, this crazy psychic girl in the woods attacked me.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening there. Well, maybe we'll find out something else. But yeah, but...
Why don't you jacked his coat and hat?
Yeah, there's like flashbacks throughout the episode, but just to like address it all here. Yeah, she had a fucking tough life. They show based on her like hair growth how long she's been out there.
Yeah.
And her clothes are getting fucked and stuff, and she's just like in the woods, like using psychic powers to like survive and stuff.
I'm hoping there's another flashback that bridges a little bit of this gap, because we see Hop dropping waffles in that thing, and she takes it. But I'm like, at what point did he know she was alive, and where did he find this, and why did he start dropping those waffles?
So to address that right now, yeah, I don't know. So she finds the waffles in the snow that time. I kind of forget under what circumstances he started leaving the waffles. Do we just see him leave waffles?
In the last episode, we just see him leave a waffle in like a stump of a tree or something.
And is that after? Well, there's like a box in the woods? I think I'm like missing a detail where she already knew about that or something. I don't know.
If you're missing it, I'm missing it too, because I don't know.
Well, so I mean,
obviously set up for that stump. I took it as it was a stump with
like
a latch top.
It has a lid, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, whatever it is. I feel like
a fake drop where you're like, I gotta drop my drugs. You put the money here, and I do this in Heavyweights where we put the food.
I feel like that was referenced more in season 1, but I forgot because I remember, like you remember, Hop puts the waffles in there.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you think like, holy shit, she's alive or whatever the fuck.
Exactly.
But so Hop is like hiding Eleven, but he got into that car with like the bad people maybe, or maybe they weren't the bad people, but he's hiding Eleven, and he knew to give her waffles. So they must have said she's alive and we need you to keep an eye out. And then he said, I'll keep an eye out with waffles, and fucking decided to hide her instead. Like,
I don't know.
I feel like there's something missing there, and I want a little more.
Well, we know
beats.
that they're literally in hiding because he won't let her go out at all ever.
Yeah.
We know that the bad guys don't know about her. The good guys semi-know about her, but only Mike, and maybe he even thinks he dreamed that because he doesn't seem like he's told his friends Eleven's probably alive.
No, and that's a whole thing there.
Yeah.
Well,
but again, maybe he didn't see her. Maybe he could have. It could be totally out of context where he could just have been in shock. Like you were to stare off into the distance, someone what are you looking at, and you're like nothing. But it looks like you're looking at something. And maybe he did see her, but maybe he doesn't know. Like, was that her? Did I really see her? I think I saw her.
No. I'm sure he's not sure about what he might have seen, because like I took it that the agent looked at the window and was like, oh fuck, and that's why they all ran outside. But they obviously don't get her. She hides under the same like fallen tree formation that like Frodo and like the boys were under, and she gets away and stuff. But did you like with the family where it's like, we're all patriots here, we're going to keep this a secret?
Yeah.
And when they're interviewing them and debriefing them and stuff, I half expected like a fucking Men in Black neuralizer.
Well, yeah, everyone hates the Russians at this time. No one was...
No, it's perfect, right? I know it may be hard to believe, but she's lied to you about who she is. She's very dangerous. If you see her, you have to let us know and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, very, very, very odd. It's Halloween night, or Halloween day, rather. They're all dressed up like the Ghostbusters. That's dope. I love that, like, their costumes are great looking, and it's seemingly like all their parents just made them.
Like independently or something? I know, it's amazing.
So the idea of how close they are, and he has the trap, and, like, all
no,
that
and
stuff
like,
looks
and
great.
like they play the song, and there's the montage with the photos, and you see all the parents, this like beautiful, and like she says like show me them pearls or whatever, and that's why he says it, and it's such an awesome kid thing to do. And Lucas's little sister is like nerd and all that shit, and I'm like, oh, this is so wonderful, and it's just a bunch of Polaroids, and you get to see each kid's personality of like who gets into it and who's like too cool for it, and who's like mom and all that shit. Like, oh, this is like fucking such efficient like storytelling and usage of
when they got to the school and no one else was in costume, though, I loved his lines. Like he says something to the effect
conspiracy.
Like they all dressed up last year. How did they do it? Like I was like, it's so funny.
I'm telling you, it's a conspiracy or whatever. And that's that thing. Without like a gross, like heavy musical cue, without like a weird camera angle, just with kids getting off the bus and his face like, guys or whatever, and just like, that feeling of like a kid, and you're like, I thought we agreed. And then the whole two Venkmans thing, where it's like, why can't you be Winston and all that shit? Like that's that's the kind of shit that this show makes me consistently go like, how is this so good? You have no reason to be this good, especially on season 2 where everyone already loves you, just to put in all this fucking shit.
And I like Winston.
Well, how did you feel about Lucas putting Winston on blast for being the worst Ghostbuster?
I think that's ridiculous.
Who is the worst Ghostbuster then?
It's hard to say who the worst Ghostbuster is.
I don't know if you can pick anyone but Winston. He joined the team late. He's not a scientist.
He's
not funny.
Late. No, but I have a soft spot for people that are out of their depths but still hanging, and I think that's what Winston is.
I like Winston, but Lucas convinced me that Winston sucks. No. I now think Winston's the worst Ghostbuster.
He's the only Ghostbuster I've met in person, and I have a picture of me with him on the wall.
That's true.
I like him.
I know, I totally like him too, but I see how this situation happened, and it had the nice little spattering of like racial tension, but also a good thing of there's a line later. It's like, well, maybe she likes Ghostbusters, and he goes, "Of course she likes Ghostbusters." I'm like, don't be ridiculous, or whatever, because this was the time, right? And everyone loved Ghostbusters.
It's a fact.
Those were amazing costumes with the functional trap and shit.
Yeah,
oh, man.
No, they put a lot into it.
I was jealous of their Halloween experience.
Good. A lot of cool costumes came out of like the 70s, 80s, even the 90s. You still had people making good costumes, and not that people don't make costumes now, but it was a lot more commonplace. Where you're like, oh, no, they don't make these costumes. You got to make them. You're like,
yeah, and I feel like back then, because they had to make it for the movie, it was something that, like in that same spirit, you could make it like for you, something.
Yeah,
like
they weren't
that.
3D modeling things and like
CGing everything. So you could just take like a colander and spray paint it silver and tack it onto your backpack and be like, I'm this or whatever, right? Yeah. Real quick, so earlier that morning, though, I wanted to call out, we have like a call back with Joyce being like, where's Will? And like Jonathan says the exact same shit. His brother is like, what do you mean he's not in his bed? Like it was like an exact recreation of
I'm peeing.
But it was an exact recreation of like the season 1 where like Will's missing and all that stuff. So you get like another little reminder of how she's like wigging out constantly. Like,
well, do you think you'd ever stop if your kid was gone,
No.
and then a random fake dead body showed up, and then he came back, and you found out he was inside a fucking hell world?
It was in like upside down hell land.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious that I'd be overprotective.
You totally should be, but it's great that she is.
Yeah.
I think I'll take this opportunity. I don't know if I said it last episode, but I love that season 1 has like consequences.
Yeah.
Right? And we'll get into like Barb and Barb because of Nancy and Steve or like whatever the fuck.
Yeah, they're at the dinner.
No, but I love that like it's like destroying Barb's parents, and they're like selling all their they're bankrupting themselves to try to find her, and Joyce is all messed up, and the kids and all this stuff. Because some people know that there's a hell dimension, and some people just think like, yeah, there's this weird thing. What is this, like zombie boy or whatever the fuck? Like, right?
It's a really weird, but like they never explain that. How do you explain there was a like genetic clone of you that was actually dead and not you?
So that's
there was a funeral.
So that's my only issue with some of this stuff, is I don't know if Hop and Joyce are like acting like they know about the Upside Down, because they're treating Will like, he's mentally ill or he has PTSD or something like that. No one has stopped to say, well, this really happened. Like, it's totally like legit that he should be fucked up and seeing things, and maybe he's seeing things because of his experiences with the supernatural. Like, no one's calling that out enough or whatever for me.
It would be impossible to say, because you can't tell him he's not actually seeing another dimension, because you know that he's been in another dimension, and he was there for how long? Like a week or more?
And Hop and Joyce are like smart. They're not like the typical dumb parent or like authority figure characters.
Sure.
And they went to the Upside Down to go get Will. So they saw that it's like normal, right side up land, only it's like twisted and corrupted and shitty and all that stuff. So when Hop sees the dead pumpkins, when Joyce sees that he drew the same place but with a Cthulhu monster, it should be clicking.
It should resonate a little bit and be like, oh, you know what?
Wait, maybe he's in the Upside Down or whatever. And I think if she literally asked him that, like, do you sometimes go to the Upside Down still? He would like start crying and be like, yes, this is freaking me out. I don't know what to do. But she's acting like, what's this thing? What's going on? Are you okay? And he's like, fuck, I'm
there's
fine.
Probably a little, at least a limited amount of deniability. Like, well, he can't. How could he be there?
Yes.
Like, he's not going through any holes. Nothing's staying.
How do you go there the first time though? Through a vagina in a tree, I guess. But still.
Yeah, he got pulled through the hole. Presumably, they didn't actually show it. But that. The Demigorgon or whatever the fuck, it could easily find the holes, I guess. Somebody brought up at work the other day an interesting fact to me. They're like, do you think, and they'd only seen the first season, and at this point I'd almost only seen the first season too.
Yeah.
They're like, do you think the slugs that like he coughed up were baby Demigorgons?
Yeah.
And to which I responded, I hope not. I want them to be their own species. Because I want there to be multiple things. And I was like, and I'm like, well, we've already established there's like a giant Cthulhu monster thing. And assuming that that's not a grown-up Demogorgon, like that there's not like all these different levels of them.
Tremors-esque life cycle.
I was like, I would like it to be. And funny you say Tremors. I was like, I would like it to be the things from Tremors 2. Like is like what the slug grows up to be. Like they're like little like monstery raptor things.
So
and I kind of was like, all right, well we did see something that had a lower vantage point. At least that's how you could take it.
Something in a trash can.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. Well, before we even saw it, there was something in a trash can. When we saw it, like it hit the trash can, like it had like a snaky low level, and I was like, all right. So, granted, this could just be how they filmed it. It might be nothing based on the eye line of the actual creature, but I was hoping it would. And I'm like, I would like there to be lots of little bad guy things. Coming out of this thing. What do you think is happening with the pumpkins? Do you think it's that the Upside Down is seeping into this world, or something is eating those and its mouth is destroying them?
So okay. I'm not exactly sure mechanically how it's happening. In the first episode, I thought, we knew something was happening with the trash can in episode 1. We just didn't know what yet. Now we know that there's something in there that doesn't immediately kill Dustin. So I do think it's like a 4-legged creature from the Upside Down. I love the idea of like the slugs being like the larva and he's spitting them up because they like sent him back pregnant. He wasn't rescued. He was sent back. And Shadow Cthulhu, wacky inflatable arm Shadow Death Man is like, conducting this orchestra of pain. But in episode 1, it did look like maybe something had fed on the pumpkins and then like left behind its
like its saliva is like
But now with like the trail through the woods and like the tree, it's seem
harder to believe that it's not just like emanating like a radiation of shit coming out of there.
It seems to be seepage. It seems to be some like sprawling death, and it's like coming like across or something like that. Which
It's certainly interesting.
I'm on board.
And definitely creepy. Just to picture you own this farm and all of a sudden all your crops are fucked.
Yeah.
That's how farmers kill themselves. Like,
well, and I love the subplot with like the feud where it's like, I didn't destroy his, but he destroyed mine because he thought I did or whatever, and all that shit. And that's what we're getting
everyone
at,
else's farms.
So we're getting
his
at
idiot
that with
detectives like touching fucking poison juice.
But that is such an unnecessarily perfect way to construct the scene, where it's like, don't touch anything without gloves, and then like focus rack to the guy like. With like the goo on his hands, just touching it like randomly. But the trees are covered in goo, and there's like fucking maggots, and there's flies, and Hop's like with marking flags, like establishing like how it's like connected and stuff like that.
I felt really bad that he let the time get away from him, though.
I thought it was really dumb because like I know that's a really okay. That makes me think maybe he'll do it next episode. It makes me think that he must recognize that this is some serious fucking business with like the Upside Down.
He definitely knows.
I hope he does. But then like
why would he be pulling his gun so often if he didn't think this was
something fucking
shit?
Fucking real? But like in that case, I feel like that's a good thing to say to 11, to be like, I'm sorry, but I think something's going on. Let me in. We have to talk. Have you been noticing anything strange? Because I feel like some stranger things are happening again.
Yeah, but she's still a child. His child at this point.
Protective.
He wants to because she is the most powerful being that they know of, and she knows this, he knows this, and he doesn't want her to go out and try to solve the problem. He wants her safe, he wants her there. So I can see why you wouldn't tell her.
I know. I want them to show us him wrestling with that, or maybe confiding in Joyce or something like that.
Well, I don't think he wants. I think under the same way he cares about Joyce, doesn't want her to know yet either, because he irrationally probably thinks he could take care of whatever this is. Oh, it's just pumpkins. Oh, it's this, and it's gonna get fucking crazy.
Right.
And I know it's gonna get crazy because I could hear the TV when the show is being watched in the other room.
Oh,
and I hear
Shit.
people just screaming, "Run, run! Oh God, what are you, an idiot?" And I'm like, spoilers,
spoilers. Well, I was looking for some images for of screenshots of the show, and I got like a few minor spoilers that way or something like that.
I caught a spoiler because there's a show called like After Things, kind of like
Beyond the Stranger.
Yeah. So
it's like Talking Strange.
Yeah. So I thought it was going to be like episode 1 to episode 1, episode 2 to episode 2 type of deal.
Oh.
And I don't know that because I had to turn it off almost immediately because the first statement says like, so if you've watched all these episodes binge style like I have and just need more, blah blah blah. So I'm like, oh, he's gonna just be talking period blankly, I think. But the opening picture on that gave me a spoiler.
Do you want me to be spoiled too? Do you want the audience to be spoiled?
I'll just say I know, or at least I have a pretty good idea what's inside the garbage can.
Oh, okay, cool.
Have you been spoiled on that?
Not yet, but
okay, so I won't say anything.
But I know in next episode we have to see what's in the garbage can.
Most assuredly.
And I hope it's a monster from the other land. But my feeling is that it's gonna be. So I keep trying to say like it's not E.T., but it's like one of the other dozens of movies that they made during the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Mac and Me.
Okay, good. I was just going to say, like, I can't think of too many of the names. They don't fit exactly, none of them. But it's like, kid finds alien or, like, monster, like, thing. And then it's a series of awkward things of, like, Mom, don't come in. Oh, sorry, honey. And he's really just trying to get the monster and, like, they're putting a dress on it or something. It's going to be some weird thing like that, but in, like, an awesome way because this show is awesome and doesn't make any of the same, like, mistakes or whatever. So, no, I don't know. I don't know how heavy that's going to be, right? Because the show's already throwing some curveballs into our predictions, but I'll stop talking about it because you've already seen it, and everything that I say could probably be easily. I don't want to get any facial spoilers from you.
I'll give you nothing. I was so angry that they would show that as the opening picture, like the picture of the Netflix show on the top was a scene. Like, and I'm like, God damn it.
Well, I've been dangerously close to that thing because it like comes up at the end of every episode, like other shows you might like beyond Stranger Things. So if I had just hit like right, it would have like
it would have shown you the full picture of like what I think is that creature. And again, it could be another creature that we see, but I at least know a creature, and I'm mad about that.
That sucks. All right, well, we're gonna find out shortly after we watch.
I do want it to be revealed immediately in the next episode, so I go, okay, it didn't spoil me for like the future too much.
Well, but I feel like we're in good hands. The density and the like efficiency of this show, like they never do like a Walking Dead, where like there's a crazy like, oh, what who's over there, and then they spend an entire episode in some other character's world, and then they finally come back. We only have 9 episodes. We have to make everything count or whatever the fuck.
Did you want bad things to happen to his brother for going to that party?
What do you mean, for Jonathan?
So he goes, all right, being a good brother, and says like you can go with your friends, but then immediately he's like in the Upside Down for like a while, and the bad things are happening, and then we hear like Mike say like, okay, I'll take you back home, and you don't know if he means his home or his home.
Yeah, there's a few things going on.
I'm like, if they take him back to his house and his mom sees his brother's not there, he's gonna fucking die. So that was what I a little wanted to happen, like low-key hate. Just wanted to see what would happen, because you know better. You fought a creature. You know what your brother's going through. Don't leave him alone. Period.
Well, and this is one of these two, so like that's like half the problem. The other half is like he takes Nancy home. So like you watch the episode
and gets in her house.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but like weird, like for a show that's so good otherwise, this feels weird, and I hope something. I feel like they'll just never address it, but Jonathan had to be like, hey, Mrs. Whatever, Mr. Whatever, I'm just going to carry your daughter upstairs.
Or it was late enough, and this is their 1950s headset, like the father's like, got to be in bed by 9. Like, I could see them being asleep.
Are they already warm milked out or something? I feel like one shot of him like bumping into something and catching it in like the dark living room and then carrying, helping her upstairs, like something.
No, but because he's such a creep. And like he is a creep. I think starting off in the bedroom, like taking her shoes off and shit, I think that's the play for him, because he's like honestly,
just in case you
rather than him catching a falling like mug to hide the fact that he's in there, I would have liked to seen him like smell the shoe or something, because he's such a fucking freak.
Okay, I don't feel that. Maybe I'm like empathizing too much.
I don't like him too much.
I don't think he's that
something
bad.
About it's not even like the character's portrayed. Something about the guy's face.
Yeah, they made a very good casting choice.
He's like an alien.
No, they made a super good choice with him, because he definitely, like, Because, like, if you think about what he does and says, it's not the end of the world creepiness, but he projects a creepiness that adds to it. So you're like waiting for something to happen.
He says things and the pauses and the way he drops it down. He's a great actor.
And no, but also his face, which I don't know how much of that is acting, because actors are amazing. But no, he's definitely fits in as like this is a creep. I'm not worried about him like getting rapey or getting too whatever. I can just tell that he's a creep.
Yes,
and I know something creepy might happen. But Nancy and Steve at the party when Nancy gets way too drunk.
Yeah.
What are their costumes? What are they dressed as? Why don't I get the reference?
Oh, I didn't get it either. Were they dressed as things?
Earlier, because she's freaking out, right? Ever since she found out that Barb's parents are like getting so deep, she's been freaking out. Steve's like, let's just be stupid kids tonight, right? Let's just like get our stupid costumes that we spent a stupid amount of time making, and just go be stupid kids. It's fine or whatever. And then when they reveal the costumes, I feel like they looked distinct. She's wearing this white thing with this thing around her thing, and he has a suit on. But I don't know who the fuck they were supposed to be.
Oh, I don't know. Was Mad Max's brother? What's his name?
Billy.
Was Billy supposed to be a lost boy?
Maybe.
Because I was like, what has a leather jacket and no shirt? And like his hair kind of already looks like the kid from
I was gonna say cool people. He just was a cool guy.
I don't know.
But I thought someone was gonna overhear Nancy saying we killed Barb.
Somebody like in the shower.
Yeah. Someone
and then they think that they actually murdered her.
Like literally murdered her.
Yeah.
But they may not be going in that direction, which is crazy then, because now I want to know, why does she think that they killed Barb? Through like negligence? That's a huge overcorrection in my opinion. They know she was killed by a fucking monster, right?
I think
not like a drunk driver or something,
I think she could think that though, and understandably, because she dragged her to that party, she left.
Yeah,
her alone.
she wouldn't have been there, I guess.
And if you're drunk and emotional, you could think things.
I've never been that drunk. That's crazy.
Well, yeah, it's an irrational thought, but how many people have had stupid irrational thoughts?
Impossible.
Yeah.
No, so she was way drunk. I don't know if she meant to respond that way or if she was just way too drunk. But he's like, "You don't love me," and fucking Lee. I was like, "Damn, son."
No, it was cold as fuck, and something about how serious her face got. Like,
she's an actress.
I was like, "Damn, bitch, that's cold."
I know.
And I don't even like that guy, but I felt bad for him.
That's the beauty of this too. I know he's kind of a shithead, but that's what's so awesome.
I kind of hate him.
It's great. Because and now he's like, so like the whole love triangle that we thought Billy was gonna somehow smashed itself.
Yeah.
And now Jonathan's inserting himself a little bit by helping her, but probably not gonna get anything. She did that creepy like I'm blackout drunk, but I'm like awake now, Jonathan, and the fucking looks at him thing.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, because I've been in that situation where I've had to escort a drunk person home or whatever the fuck. Oh, that's choice.
The Billy character is a fuck.
So we have to talk about Billy Max's older brother.
I already didn't like. I think his look is really weird. Just like some combination of it, like his face and that haircut. He looks weird to begin with.
He looks like he's from Dazed and Confused.
Well, I could tell he's gonna be playing the cool guy character. He doesn't jump out at me as the cool guy character. But then he's like a fucking crazy person.
He's a literal psychopath.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, but do you think there's something supernatural involved? I'm not sure. I hope there is.
I don't know.
Let me lay it down for you. He's like, this is a shithole. There's literal shit. And she goes...
Do you smell that? That's shit.
That's literal shit, Max, and all that stuff. Fucking awesome. But then she goes, well, I haven't seen any cows or whatever. And he goes, oh, yeah, you obviously haven't seen the high school girls.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to phrase that. Almost like you're a fucking alien from the Upside Down or some shit. Or something.
No, I took that as because she's in the middle school. Still.
I think any real high schooler would have said, the girls in this town, or like the girls or something like that. Throwing in high school triggered me once, but I didn't need that trigger alone. Wouldn't have done it. What follows that, where he's like, we're stuck here, and whose fault is that? And she goes, yours? And he goes, say it! Whose fault is it? Or whatever the fuck. Like, I guess it's hers or someone else that they're getting revenge on somehow or something like that. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm reading a lot into it, but something about that made me feel so uneasy that I suspect something else is going on. If not supernatural, exterior in some way.
I don't know. I took it and I read a lot. I read deep.
Yeah.
Where my thoughts are, he actually does love his sister, even though he's like a putz. And maybe like something happened with her, and he like beat the shit out of somebody, and they got kicked out, and like he got kicked out of school, and they had to move or something, or like, but like. That wouldn't make you necessarily move to a different, like, we don't know where they came from, like the big city, right? And they're now in this cowpunk thing. So like, how would that, like, that doesn't make sense. If you get kicked out of school, you wouldn't just like move across the country. So the dad or someone had to like change their job or move or something. Like, so did he get him fired? Like, what exactly is happening here? And they're gonna definitely give us more information, but it's such a weird character, and she even gives me a vibe of like a little bit crazy.
Something's going on, and again, it doesn't have to be supernatural. I'm more than happy with, because we haven't met like their parents. He's kind of taking care of her.
Yeah.
Are their parents like? Did they move in with some relative? Right? Did they together destroy? Like, is he stuck here because he's helping take care of her because of some complex family thing that fell apart, like you're saying? Or something where they've now had to go live with the uncle or the grandma or someone like that. Where are they? She makes reference to like, well, I'm in this poor neighborhood, but it's good for skating, don't worry about it, or something like that, right? So we have to learn about their home life and what the fuck's going on or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like instantly keg stand champion and somehow challenging Steve, who I didn't even think would be in that position or whatever. I don't know what's going on, but I'm getting a vibe, and I hope something's happening. This is the kind of show where it could be happening. Might be too much if it is, but I really hope something crazy is going on.
I also hope they gave him the VHS camcorder. Samwise Gamgee, whatever the fuck his name is.
Bob the Brain.
Yeah, Bob the Brain gives him the VHS cam, and I was like, I'm like, this could be an interesting twist. And even in my head, I was like, I don't think that could work, but I like the idea of if he's in the Upside Down and hit record.
Is he seeing the Upside Down?
Is he in both? Because it seemingly would just be in his head. The camera couldn't actually record it, but I was like, that would be really cool if they play back this footage and it's like them trick-or-treating and all of a sudden you see Cthulhu.
I would love it the other way too, though, he had the camera when he went to the Upside Down, right?
Well, he dropped it at some point, though, so I don't even know if they got it back.
I was going to say, so I wasn't clear about the chain of custody, but I would love for them to watch the footage and for it to just be normal world. And he's like, oh, God, I am crazy. And it, like, dips us into this weird middle of the season, like figuring shit out phase.
Yeah.
Because, oh, boy, right? Because if he still walks around the real world, but he's seeing the other world, right? That's super dangerous and weird, and I like that, too.
That's definitely what's happening.
I mean, yeah, but, damn, son. I want to see like the other side of that to get like the picture, right? Because then everyone would just think that he's crazy.
Well, yeah, we've never seen him like teleport out of existence because he's left our world and gone there. But that would be interesting too.
They're both interesting.
It'd be cool if he learned to control that. Like
he could fucking
like pop out here, pop out behind somebody, do something.
Or fucking use the fact that there's no water in the pool there, but there is water in the pool in like the other world, right?
Yeah.
That's a video game waiting to happen.
Or
I like that
there's
a lot.
broken walls there and not broken walls here. You could. Or none of the doors would be locked, probably.
Dilapidated shittiness and whatever.
Yeah.
But we have that scene where he sees Cthulhu. He hears the same noises that are coming out of Dustin's trash can, all that stuff. So there's definitely multiple. I get a very Tremorsy vibe from it. I feel like instead of one big threat, there's going to be multiple little, maybe not threats. Because again, Dustin's face was not ripped off instantly, so this has to be like a friendly little goblin monster or something like that.
I would gather
something along those lines. No, I dig that. What's next?
For this season?
For the things we should talk about. There was one drop-in scene where they have to replace a battery and like a monitoring outpost.
Yeah, and that's what that blinking light was about. It wasn't that they were being invaded. It was that like the power's going out or something.
So that helps because if the blinking lights were something's getting through or something's open or something like that, then it wouldn't make sense because we already had the pumpkins get dead or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But also it's amazing. They have this fucking listening post thing with weird satellite dishes right on the other side where they're monitoring or checking for something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just to check if something's getting close, but something like attacked it or like lightning or something happened to like destroy it, and they had to go like maintain it or something.
It's such a cool show with so many interesting concepts.
Yeah. That is a sci-fi awesome thing where like this crazy event where things are coming from another world gets like reduced down to this like we have to maintain it, we have to trim the hedges with a flamethrower, oh the fucking thing's out, we have to go send out a crew to like replace the fucking like it's a telephone pole, you're just fixing a dumb thing or whatever. It's a great vibe.
Upside Down is such a cool thing, and I wonder how they came up with that, like, oh, there'll be like ashes or cinders like floating and like cool stuff, like, and I was like, is this a practical effect? Like when she was walking to the school, I'm like, it's a lot of upside down that they're in. Like, is this
okay?
Is this them filming a normal world and they do things to it in post? Like, what is happening there? Because either way, it's really interesting.
So right in the beginning with 11, right when she's running through the school, there was a moment where I thought maybe she was in like a weird endless whatever, and it was clearly like a CG set of like hallways. But yeah, like at other times, it's totally you can't tell, or it's like too good, or it is practical, or whatever. This weird furry veins of like death, right, and the stuff in the air, and even when she talks, like the sound doesn't travel the same way there. Like the air or like the medium through which the sound goes is different, and it sounds different.
It's such a cool concept.
Like, and I wonder, what is it? How did it get like that? When like we build a like new house, how does the Upside Down know? And like the house is also there. If it's time travel, right? Like,
I took it as it is a different plane of this existence.
Yeah, it's like a different dimension.
Yeah, so as things are happening, but it's weird though, because I don't know that you would see something. You wouldn't see something get erected; it would just be erected.
I don't know. How does it work?
Because you're not like, if you're walking holding your phone's not just like sliding around to there. Like what things are there?
Exactly. It's super weird.
It's very weird.
Like what establishes
that
what?
Hurts to think about.
It does hurt to think about. And also, like she goes through one wall and comes out the other side of that same wall, right?
Yeah.
But in like the Upside Down, you could go into like the next hallway and there'd be something else there. So the holes are this weird three-dimensional mirror out into like the rest of our world from that single point. Because she came out of the same logo in like the wall or whatever. So like when you make a hole, it like fucking destroys all sense of reality and time and space, which is awesome. I feel like something might happen with that because they spent a lot of time there. I hope in like the finale we get some interesting fucking crazy shit happen. I don't know. It's so many things could happen from this point. I have no idea where things are going or whatever the fuck.
And that's what's joyous about this is it could go anywhere. You got 7 more episodes and anything can happen. And I think it's going to get dark and awesome pretty quickly.
Yeah, that beginning also reminded me how much 11's into Mike.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was kind of like, I have 2 takeaways from, like, this beginning season is, like, Will and Mike look really similar.
Like, too similar.
It's kind of fucking me up. If I were an executive at Paramount, I'd be like, recast one of those kids. This isn't going to work.
Yeah.
And they probably said, one of them's going to be in, like, a weird space vagina. It's going to be fine. And I'm going to be like, all right. And now we're in season 2. And they haven't given them haircuts or anything. They just look like...
Yeah. And they're the ones that are, like, closest friends. It's very strange.
It's very weird. To me or whatever, but so obviously they were like they like kiss, right, real quick, like a real quick kid kiss or whatever. It's very cute, but then they get torn apart or whatever, and I didn't realize it was going to be this serious because he's on that walkie-talkie, and I'm like, well, he's struck whatever, but she's also like her first thought is to call out to Mike when she's like lost over there, and I was like, oh damn, that's
well, she also just for her, she just left Mike, so like that kind of makes sense, but he's been pining for almost a year exactly.
Well, so that's the other thing I'm not sure about, right? Is like the timeline for her. Time may pass differently in the Upside Down, or do we even know that?
I was thinking that too, but I don't think so. Because when she comes out, the police are still at their house. Yeah. So like, even like how long could it have been that they'd still be there? You know?
No, yeah. So like, I felt like everything was happening in like real time. So she's just been in like the woods for like a year too. So she's had a year just like him of like, oh no, what's going on or whatever the fuck.
Well, we don't know how long exactly she's been in the woods.
Well, she's out.
Hop could have found her.
No. I mean, like
she's been away from them.
Yeah, she's either in the woods alone, in the cabin with Hop or whatever. So in this episode, the last thing in my notes to like call out is when she, Hop comes home. Sorry, that fucking line where he's like, it's not safe to leave me out here alone with all this candy. I'll get fat. Could have a heart attack. And just like it's not working. He's struggling to like, how do I fucking talk to a kid? Oh man, fuck, this is hard. That whole thing is so like, oh, it's so good.
But then it leads to her turning the TV to static and like able to like dream walk right at Mike, and he gets the sense that he might notice something,
right?
And that could be what is subconsciously egging him along to keep talking out to her, and like certainly spurs her to keep looking at Mike. She's like, well, he's thinking about me.
Is this the first time she's done that?
Can't imagine that.
She now has the the ability. So like her powers are growing as we might expect or whatever. But it's in this weird way where like she used to have to like lay in a bath, like they had to like drag in a kiddie pool and salt water and like have her in this sensory deprivation thing. But now she's getting so good at it that she can do it with just a blindfold and like whatever, right?
Yeah.
And how does that work? The Upside Down's a mirror of like our world, but she was able to like
see him,
isolate a little pocket of it in that black pool of endless nothing, just to reach out to like find one person and like teleport herself there in the Upside Down. Holy shit, that's awesome!
That's very cool.
The possibilities are endless here.
We touched base very briefly. So Barb's parents, have them over for dinner. They're talking, and they say how they're selling their house because they're paying for that fucking guy who, Hop thinks is a quack, but
we didn't see
knows
him again
he's not
here,
a quack, and can't wait for him to die by some alien because that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I love their like KFC. No, I love KFC. Those were the original KFC buckets. The good stuff.
And then his finger looking good line. Yeah, that was all last episode, but yeah. When he's like, this is finger looking good, man. Like, he's like, no problem, I love KFC or whatever. It always wigs me out to see people eating fast food like as a family, as like a normal meal.
I think at that time though, even I remember as a kid, KFC like
casual dining.
Like no, you had KFC because it wasn't fast food then. Like
I know. So like for the last 20 years of my life, fast food has been a thing that I like procure it like I've killed an animal and then I eat it alone in like a dark room, just like consuming and feeding on this disgusting garbage. So it's fair. That's what I mean. It's weird. Like, wait, you actually got the side dishes and you put them into like a plate
used to have a
and all that
meal
stuff?
where you'd get like the side, you get a cake, you get the thing, and like it was a delicious thing.
It was a whole thing.
Yeah.
Not how it is for me anymore, though.
All right. So we missed any little bits and bobbles on this episode?
I think we hit on most things. I think anything else would just be me saying how awesome and charming and well done everything is, but that's going to get old. So
yeah, we'll let you do that next episode.
Do we have predictions? Or
prediction wise would just be leading into more about the thing in the garbage can, but I already have a
I know it sucks that you were
spoiler
spoiled
on
for that. But I do think we're gonna get at least one episode of like it was in my garbage. We have to tell someone. We can't tell anyone. No, what is it doing? Oh, it's like humping something or eating something. Oh no, grab it. Oh, whatever. Like, maybe that's not gonna work.
So I've only seen like a single picture, and I know like what I think it is, and.
Maybe that wouldn't work.
I think like he'll like it won't be like it won't run away. I think he's gonna have it. I think it's gonna be like a pet.
It's like a dinosaur in the bottom half of an egg and like the top half of the egg, even though it's too small, is like its little hat.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, I'm down for that. I have to find out more about Billy and Max. We have to go to their house. We have to see how they live, what's happening. If it doesn't happen next episode, it's gonna hurt me a lot.
I want more about with Paul Reiser's character too. I want to know exactly what's happening there. I want detailed information about what their Upside Down research is.
Yeah.
Because that stuff's dope.
So that one scene that we mentioned was, I think, the only scene in the whole fucking episode of like Paul Reiser. It's like one sequence where he then watches the interview with Will again. But that's it. But like. It was cool because Paul Reiser, they further established he's like in the command position, right? He gets on the mic.
Yeah.
How's it looking in there, Bob? And he's like, whatever radiation, making jokes and stuff like. Yeah. So he's the new Matt Modine, like head dude or whatever the fuck, which is cool to solidify because we were a little unsure of like.
Yeah, because it could go anyway.
Does he go is he just someone else's mook? Does he go to the basement and be like, hey guys, sorry, never mind, and like whatever? But no, he seems to be like the dude or whatever, and we need more of that because we're not getting enough of that. We need extra of that to make up for the lack of that in this episode. We gotta see the shadow organization.
So let's see what happens next episode, guys. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about this episode. That was episode 2, Don't Die in a Fire, and we'll see you next time.